And we are live. Hey everyone, welcome to Fantasy Football Scout. I'm Gianni Battici, today's host, and I'm joined by an FPL winner himself, Ali Yahangrov. Ali, how you doing, mate? How's your game week been?
It's been all right. I'm on a green arrow, not a huge one, but at least it's green, so I'm doing fairly fine. How about yourself? Are you on wildcard? No?
Mate, I'm on wild card. And there's nothing worse than a wild card that goes badly because you spend more time on your team more than ever when you're on wild card. So I was delighted to come out of the wild card with a big, fat, juicy green arrow. 87 points for me. Let us know in the chat how you guys have got on with your points. Hopefully, we'll shout out some good ones, and we'll be obviously loads listening to us on podcast as well. So hello to all you guys. But yeah, it's been a good day for me. I guess, Ali, that the teams that we all went big on wildcard in game week 10 all kind of played quite well. Like Liverpool, big win. Villa, big win. Arsenal, big win. They're the teams we were backing, right?
Oh, yes. Let me put up the uh, our main score lines just so we go over the scores. Just a second. Here we go. Yeah, all of the teams that we were basically hoping would deliver, they did, and Arsenal as well as Aston Villa, Liverpool, and I didn't expect anything else from City away at United because of their form. So these were the main fixtures, and Liverpool against Forest as well. So basically everything went as planned except the Chelsea fixture. Everybody knew it would be a tough fixture for both teams but I expected a lot more from Chelsea.
Yeah, me too. Chelsea first half was so good, and those that went Palmer on wildcard, I thought did like were really unlucky. Like he was all over the place. He looked like a young De Bruyne pulling the strings at Stamford Bridge. But yeah, it didn't quite work out. Ali, I guess we're going to show our teams, and then we'll go through. We'll go through some of the big score lines. We'll discuss in detail some of the winners. So this is all about FPL winners, isn't it? I can see in the chat, CH says her connection's great. A few have said YouTube's been a bit dodgy today for some, but for many they're still watching. I think Brian on 72. We've got Slot on 86 points with a wild card still in his pocket. Tim at 79 points, 420k green arrow. Not too bad there at all. Tim, guys, make sure you hit like and subscribe. And if you're not already subscribed to the Fantasy Football Scout members area, do go check that out as well. Like we're in the members area every weekend, Ali and myself. It's great if you're always 50-50 on a decision, go load some of those stats tables and think, is it player A or B you want? And often the answer is right in front of you in the Scout members area. So how shall we crack on, Ali? Where do you want to start us with? One of our teams?
I'll go over my team first, really quick. So basically, I had Ariola in goal, Timmy Cash, Gabriel, who didn't feature. I have Fabian Scher coming in for Gabriel. So luckily, he got the assist points for the penalty that Callum Wilson scored. So I had Cash, Almiron, and Neto together with Martinelli were three of my main differentials that I was hoping could deliver points for me, but the only one who got the assist was Neto, and Martinelli
Yeah.
and Almiron blanked for me. Salah as a captain, and Son, of course, Mr. Reliable. And at the moment, I think Son is more of a better FPL asset than a Salah. But we'll talk about it a little later. So I had Watkins as well, who blanked, and Holland, who delivered big. So basically, I'm on 73 points. A little green arrow for me, which is still a win, I believe, because I'm having a hard time to go over the 2 million overall rank, but hopefully I'll do it next week.
Yeah, Son, you mentioned they're a better asset maybe than Salah, but those two are delivering. And when we went into the game week just gone, we were all like, is it Son? Do we wildcard to get Saka in and Salah in. And when you look at those three big names in the midfield, they've all been reliable this weekend, but they've all been reliable for most of this season. Saka, Son, and Salah feel like the holy trinity, which is useful. Ali, tell us about your Spurs coverage and what your take is there with Spurs, because again, I thought they were pretty impressive against Crystal Palace, and those that had Spurs defenders like Porro really unlucky with that last minute goal from Ayew, which could have been a handball. So yeah, tough one for Spurs defender owners to take. But then again, Son, if you owned him, you went from, I think it was 0 or 1 bonus points to 3 bonus points with Spurs conceding.
Yeah, with Spurs coverage, I think having both Madison and Son is just fine. Madison still delivered 6 points with an assist in his pocket. I mean, he's always good. Every game he plays, doesn't matter who it's against. I think he will be in and amongst the return points, because every game they play, they're playing attacking football, and they're in the conversation of winning the league at the moment, which is not a for me as an Arsenal fan, it's hard to say, but they're serious contenders this year, and not sure if they can keep it up, because once the business end of the season comes, that's when your squad depth needs assessment. And with Son and Madison, I think they're both are all right to keep. I didn't really understand why people some managers sold Son. For Saka, I think it was okay move, but that was probably the only way to bring Saka, and in Arsenal fixture, he wasn't the one who delivered.
It wasn't one for me. That I saw people selling Son and was like, I as always, going into a deadline, I get asked tons of questions, and I'm like, I was never going to be like, yeah, you can sell Son. Even to get Salah or Saka, I was like, find another way if that means taking hits. Like, Son feels like a non-negotiable for me. But look, that's the Spurs' interest. Let's have a look at my team and go through my points, because I mentioned I got 87 points, Ali. I'm flying on a green arrow, which is amazing to have, because I'm slightly worried when I saw no Gabriel playing yesterday. My points over the week over Saturday weren't great, and then Sunday comes in and you're like, oh yes, hello Diaby on his 13 points. Thank you very much. Haaland 16 for once, was positive. Salah captaincy worked out. I did nearly go Watkins, not gonna lie, I was really tempted on Ollie Watkins, and then Matty Cash comes off before Villa concede. That's a bit of luck. Tsimikas close to bonus points, and Matty Cash was close to bonus points as well, so you could argue a little bit unlucky there. And Areola, nice that he got 3 points, even though he sort of blanked, if we call 3 points a blanking. I did feel like Everton would keep a clean sheet or come close to keeping a clean sheet. I actually had that as a 0-0 draw. And Branthwaite came in for me on 8 points with his bonus, replacing Gabriel. And when I saw, oh no, loads have got Taylor coming off the bench for Gabriel, I was gutted, because I was like, oh, I'm not going to have Taylor. I put Taylor as my second sub. I'm going to have Branthwaite, who'll probably concede. So I was really thankful that Everton and Sean Dyche ball came into fruition, and we saw a nice 1-0 win there from Sean Dyche. So yeah, that's my team. But let's kick off with some of the talking points from the games just gone this weekend, and start, I think, with the Sunday games. So the big Sunday game was the Manchester derby. Those that are going without Haaland, you might have thought, I can maybe get away with it against United, but against Bournemouth, it's going to be tricky. Well, even against Man United, it was tricky, and it was just a complete dominant performance from Haaland and co. Haaland could have had more. Onana was inspired with 7 saves. But big points. And I think next week, Ali, we're going to see Haaland mass captained for that Bournemouth fixture, aren't we?
Yeah, I feel sorry for those who went without Haaland on their wild cards, because I could see on X a lot of managers were considering selling him. I mean, going without Haaland, but not sure how how they're trying to bring Haaland in. Because one thing is selling him, one thing is not captaining him, and one thing, it's a totally different story when you don't own him, was his ownership. And City just completely dominated, as you said, and United couldn't really. They accumulated around I think almost 1 xg and 1.0 xg or 0.94 xg, and it's in a Manchester derby. I think you expected a lot more from them because that's the derby games where the form goes out the window, and they couldn't really keep up with Manchester City's passing pace and the whole. They've just got overplayed. So
Yeah, they did. They did. It's not looking good for United. There's no pattern to play. There's no rhythm. There's not a clear and obvious 11 anymore. And whilst they've got some good fixtures, I'm so grateful in a way that I've been advising people for weeks to sell Bruno and Rashford. And by now, I think everyone has sold these guys. We spoke a little bit about Mo Salah and Liverpool, but we'll just touch on Liverpool versus Forest, Ali, because Darwin, again, big scoreline for those that went Darwin on wildcard. And I know a few punted him in. I've owned Darwin for the last 2 or 3 game weeks. Had very little from him. And of course, I knew it was a risk going without him on wildcard when I've had him in my team. But if I'd gone Darwin, I wouldn't have had Diaby. So it swings and roundabouts. But Darwin looked good. And Liverpool, 3-0. Liverpool defence is better than we've been giving it credit for. Like, there's clean sheets coming at Liverpool, which is why Tsimikas is such an obvious buy.
Absolutely. It's hard to nail the attacker from Liverpool team because I think Hakpur is back and he scored a goal that was disallowed by VAR, and I think Liverpool will be scoring a lot of points. It's just well spread around the attackers. Szoboszlai is taking in with assist points, and I think he's in the conversation. When you talk about Darwin, when you talk about Jota, I think Szoboszlai is fairly nailed in that 11.
Yeah, he's played more minutes than everyone else pretty much. Like, he has played so many minutes.
Yeah, I mean, with Liverpool, you have no doubt that they will be scoring goals, but by who will be the one who scores them? Mainly Salah. Salah will be involved, but the rest are just. I still like Jota, I still like Darwin, but I'm not sure about the minutes. And at the moment, in the search of good differentials, I think I cannot really. Play too risky with the minutes. At least if I go for differentials, at least I have to make sure that the expected minutes are there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to spending some time in the members area tomorrow morning. It's my Monday morning ritual usually on Aston Villa numbers, and just to see how Ollie Watkins performed. We don't have any stats to show you now, but I'll be digesting that on Monday morning, as I mentioned. Go and have a look. But many would have looked at Aston Villa Luton and gone, there's at least 3 goals in this for Villa because they keep scoring 3+ at home. And they did. They went and scored 3. Ollie Watkins not involved, though, which is quite rare. But Diaby, big points. I think Leon Bailey came on at half-time and played really well as well. Unlucky not to keep a clean sheet, Villa. Luton pretty much from a freak own goal offered very little. And I do look at that Aston Villa defence and go, you're going to get clean sheets aplenty, even if you didn't get one today. Matty Cash owners did. Slightly lucky with him coming off just before the goal. But moving forward, Ali, I think it's so for those that went triple Villa, like me, Cash, Diaby, Watkins, for example. I think you can look at today's game and go, yeah, you can stick on those 3 for a few weeks when the fixtures are good. We're seeing enough promise there, aren't we?
Yeah, considering Diaby, I was just I wanted to roll this game week, but after that performance, I think Diaby will be in many teams, and basically fixtures are still good for Aston Villa, and it's just with Watkins, I'll give him a couple of more game weeks, and once the Arsenal, it's hard to look around for good strikers because Nketiah was a good shout. I think our Fantasy Football Scout pundit Pras got him in his wild card, and I really liked the team he had, and basically anyone who punted for Nketiah for 5.5, you cannot really ask for more. With a hat trick, it was 17 points. I think it's hard to go for him because it's a tough fixture against Newcastle at the moment. And looking at alternatives for Watkins, so where you go? I mean, you can upgrade Archer, most of us on 3-5-2 formations, and you can upgrade Archer by getting a million somewhere in your midfield, but it's a tough operation. I think a lot of people who wildcarded in game week 9 will have 2 free transfers and they can afford it, like myself. But I'm not sure if I want to do it, knowing not sure when Gabriel Jesus will be back, and the minutes are still not long term for Nketiah, I believe.
Yeah. It was impressive there from Praz. I liked that move going Nketiah because we didn't know he was going to start. Like you go, Jesus is out for a few weeks. It's probably Nketiah, but it could be Trossard. It's probably Nketiah, but it could be Havertz. So yeah, good punt there. You mentioned Archer as an upgrade, like going as an upgrade. Worth noting, Cameron Archer didn't start for Sheffield United this weekend. I think Brewster got the nod. So it is even, you look at that 4.5 attacker and go, at least he plays 90 every week. But maybe not. And he's not scoring goals either. So yeah, I was happy to go 4.3 and Bamba on my wildcard and just save the 0.2 and have a dead spot. Guys, do hit the like button if you can. We'd love you to show your love for the stream by clicking like. It doesn't take more than a second. And obviously, if you're not already subscribed to Fantasy Football Scout, so much content throughout the week, every day, usually more than one piece of good content, including Praz with his show with Rich, aka Flapjack FPL on I think it's a Thursday, the Final Dilemmas stream. So check that out as well. Cheers for your love, guys. Where do we go to next? I think we should stay on Sunday and then move towards the Saturday games, Ali, and we'll get to Arsenal in a minute. Brighton 1, Fulham 1's disappointing. One thing I said I had to do on wildcard, was cover Brighton's attack. I did that with Matoma, but yeah, didn't see that coming. I had a big win for Brighton here. And disappointing. And, maybe playing Thursday night football is going to catch up with the small squad of Brighton, do you think?
It's a fairly young squad as well. I mean, they have injuries, and it's hard to, play week in, week out every 3 or 4 days. Once all of their players come back to fitness, I think they will be in a better position. But at the moment, attacking wise, they have Enciso out. He's back in training, but Welbeck out, March out, Adingra is filling in. Mitoma has been, playing regularly, and was Estupinian out. When Estupinian plays on the left, and the left back position, I think he covers a lot of the ground on the left wing, because he's a good integral part of the team, and they play a certain system, but there are certain players that make this team a lot better. And once they're absent, I think the quality of their performances are not exactly there. And I think you could see that they've still accumulated good XG, but not sure a lot of people still underestimate Fulham, I believe.
Yeah.
Haven't watched them at the Emirates against Arsenal. With Palhinha in the side, they're a decent team. It's impressive how one guy in a center of midfield just makes the team a lot better. And watching them live, I can assure that's not the fixture to target, even though it's a green fixture in the FPL website. But I'm not sure if it's a fixture to target for everyone.
That's interesting. Yeah, you're obviously at the Arsenal-Fulham game only a month or so ago. So yeah, and Paulinho, I mean, Bayern Munich wanted him for a reason. Like this guy could probably walk into any starting 11, maybe not Man City. He'd walk into every squad in the Premier League without fail. Would he get in Man City's 11? I'm not so sure. He'd get in every other team's 11. Like, I think he would. He's that good. And it's only because Rodri is world class that he perhaps wouldn't at City. João Paulinho will not be at Fulham very long because he's that good. And we saw that again today. Yesterday's fixtures. There's some good ones here. I need to ask you about Wolves as well, because I know you got Neto. But let's start with Arsenal in Nketiah. surely we all predicted a big scoreline here. Like I've said it all season, like, oh, the XG numbers aren't great for Arsenal, but when they're at home against one of the bottom teams, like a Sheffield United, or even away, like when they went to Bournemouth, was it 4-0? I think it was. They will be a flat track bully team, Arsenal under Arteta. They have been under Arteta. And when the fixture's right, as it will be again in game week 12, when Arsenal play Burnley, expect the fours, expect the fives. You'll get them. And we didn't see a 5-0 win coming with no Martinelli returns and only one assist for Saka, but the goals are there. There is a spread of points. Fair play to those that went at Nketiah, but it's good for Arsenal's confidence to get those goals on the score sheet. And I think Arsenal go into that Newcastle game next week as favourites. Tough place to visit St James's Park. But if you've got Arsenal assets, you don't need to worry and sell them because it's one tough fixture because they got Burnley in game week 12 and then the run is really good. So Arsenal will be in demand. Good performance, Ali, wasn't it? We saw some rotation too.
Yeah, it was amazing. Luckily, the Gabriel benching is not didn't really change the outcome.
Will he play next week, Ali, Gabriel?
I'm pretty sure he will. I think Kiwior hasn't done nothing wrong. I mean, he's a better passer of the ball because if you watch him on the ball, he's just good. Like you could see the quality is there, and I think with such players, Arteta wants to make sure that they get enough minutes. And in the easier fixtures, I think there are players like Tomiyasu, the squad players, that deserve to start. Even Emil Smith-Rowe, I mean, you cannot expect them to be benched every game week. And these are the game weeks that some of the bench players, some of the squad players will be played by Arteta because it's a long season and you need to utilize the whole team. But the good performance in Nketiah has just delivered. I mean, if I were on a wild card, I think I would have had him because when Arsenal plays at home, you want the Nketiah style of striker that will be, troublemaker in the box. And I was quite sure that Martinelli is not going to deliver, so it wasn't shocking because I expected, around 65 minutes, which I got. So I even was considering like transferring him out, but it was a tough decision to make before Sheffield United game.
Yeah, if Jesus was fit, Martinelli would have been a great option. And I said on Wildcard, Ali, I think I said it in our WhatsApp group, like if Jesus is fit, I'm going to do everything I can to buy Martinelli. And we saw on Tuesday night against Sevilla, like the combination there is so good. We know Jesus drifts left and Martinelli occupies the central position when they're playing together at times. But yeah, good. Let's talk very quickly about Chelsea. It was again a performance where at times, certainly for the first half, maybe even the first hour, Chelsea were really good, really dominant, looked like keep a clean sheet. Unlucky not to score. Madueke hits the woodwork. Cole Palmer's creating chances left, right and centre. Arguably, they should have had a penalty. Cucurella missed a big chance all in the first half. But the result doesn't go their way. Still, they'll put up good defensive numbers. And I still think when the fixtures are good, we can look at Chelsea defence, not for the next few weeks. But Cole Palmer, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a fantastic own this season, long-term in FPL. Again, Chelsea's best attacking threat. Ali, what's your take on Palmer? Because I think when I do eventually sell a Matoma or a Diaby, it will be straight to Palmer and just bank the money.
He's definitely passed the eye test. He's been passing it for the last 2 or 3 game weeks. But he blanked this game week, which is not, well, you're not going to have a player that scores every game week, especially when he's 5.0 million. I mean,
yeah, you can't expect too much, can you? He's 5 million.
You cannot expect too much, but he's passing the eye test. He's creating a lot of chances. He's always active. I mean, that's what you want to see from your FPL asset. Even if he's blanking, he's still... the moments are there. He's still in and around the box, and that's what you expect. I think he's still a good buy for those who hasn't wildcarded yet or thinking to downgrade some of your 6.5 midfielders. For me, it's an option I'm considering because I have Almiron who hasn't done much yet, to be honest, and he's for me he's on the chopping block, I believe, and I will be downgrading him in order to upgrade Archer. So I have two free transfers. I think Chelsea assets at the moment are there's a case for Sterling, but he's much expensive than Palmer. But even in tough fixtures, I think he's a good eighth attacker. So Palmer
Yeah.
is a good buy. He's a good hold. I wouldn't really sell him ahead of the tough fixtures because he's passing the eye test.
Yeah, and because he's on penalties are harder to predict, right? So even in the tough fixtures, like you might not back Chelsea to score many, but you might go, yeah, penalties can just pop up. So with it being the penalty taker, again, I think you keep it. I guess our final game to discuss is kind of Wolves Newcastle because there are a lot of managers out there with Gordon. There's a lot out there with Trippier, like huge. He didn't have a good game and 0 points, I think it was for Trippier in the end. And there's still others with the likes of Burn and Cher. I know you had Cher's 5 points off the bench, didn't you, Ali? So Newcastle owners, I think, still look good in attack. Wilson will get a lot of love because he scored 2 goals, and Isak looks like he's going to be out to the international break. Wilson's a player you and I like, Ali. Do you think you'll go in that direction or not? I can't see how I do with my setup, and I'm guessing you probably can't easily get to a Wilson either, and will be happy going without him this time round.
No, it's tough for me because there's too much rotation in Newcastle team. I'm not sure if it's worth it. Once you know that one of Isak or Wilson is injured for sure, you know the other one starts. So that's when you can bank on them at least short term. But the Champions League around the corner, it's hard to predict their lineup. So I was basically sure on Almiron's minutes, and with the injuries for Harvey Barnes and Murphy at the moment, I think the Gordon. If you want to go attacking. If you want to choose an attacking player from Newcastle, I think Almiron or Gordon. I wouldn't even go Almiron, but Gordon was his price tag. I think it's a conversation to be had.
Yeah. And we spoke really about the Friday night game earlier with Son, but Spurs are impressive. I think they've had some tough fixtures. They've not got too many gimmies anymore. Like they've had their best fixtures in the last few weeks, but they've also had a few tough ones. And when we look at the Spurs fixtures coming up, Chelsea next week's going to be, I think, a tricky game. Maybe not. The Spurs will be favourites. They're at home. Wolves, Villa, Man City, West Ham, Newcastle. It's not a great run, but I still look at those games and go, yeah, they'll score a goal in that one. They'll score a goal in that one. Man City away is obviously the trickiest game in the league on paper. But other than that, does Spurs score against Chelsea, Wolves, Villa, West Ham, and Newcastle? I think they've probably got a very good chance. So Son's going nowhere, but is Son enough? I think he might be. Would you back that?
Yeah, it should be enough. I believe even scoring 1 or 2 goals, you can bet that Son is going to be involved because he is known for his good conversion rate and the low XG goals as well. So basically, Son is one of the rare players that is fixture proof. He always scores against City. He always scores against Arsenal. So these are the best defenses in the league, and you can bet on them scoring against the best defenses. So there's absolutely no team that can, for sure, for 100% stop Son because he's in good form. He's a streaky player, and he can score against anyone.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, what's our final thoughts then, Ali? Like, it's early to commit to a plan, and we don't do that on this show, but we can give like a little sort of feel of our bus team, our moves. Like, I'm going to be captain Haaland next week. Man City, by the way, aren't in the Carabao Cup. They get a week off. That's decent. That's nice. I mean, some will look at Mo Salah's fixture away to Luton and go, Captain Salah, it's away to Luton, but with Liverpool being the away team and Man City having a home fixture against leaky Bournemouth, I can't see that being a week where the masses even big numbers go against Haaland. I think the world and their dog will still go Haaland. So I guess my first question is, Ali, do you think you'll go Haaland or is it too early to decide? And then my second question is around transfers, like anyone you're eyeing up. I'll be rolling next week, which I think off the back of a wild card is always the preferred strategy. And fortunately, no injuries. I think Gabriel was back starting. I'm going to keep him in regardless. I'd give him another week. If he doesn't start versus Newcastle, maybe then I would sell him. But I'll be rolling and I'll be going Haaland, I'm pretty sure.
I'm all over the place with my transfers because I have two frees and I'm not sure who to downgrade. The
Yeah.
differentials that I chose, Neto is injured. Right before he was about to score a goal and he was in a good position on his left and he
Yeah.
pulled his hamstring and uh, basically I think I'll be selling one of Almiron, Neto or even Martinelli, but it's still a long way to go. We have a week ahead and I'll see what to do. I'll figure out something interesting because these are my three differentials. I can do whatever I want with them and I'm not. It's not a risk to get rid. It's just fun way to play. So I'll find something spicy.
Yeah, I've no doubt you will, mate. I know you will. And look, two free transfers puts you in a nice position just to be a little bit experimental and fun. And with those midfielders like Neto and Martinelli, who you might look to move on, you look at fixtures, and I know you know like Liverpool, Luton, and you might go. I could see it'd be a very alley move out of nowhere to go on a Soboslai or a. Is Diogo Jota listed as a midfielder? I think he is
It
still,
is.
but you know Luis Diaz might be back, so I know you'll be eyeing up good fixtures at Man City and good fixtures at Liverpool, and maybe there'll be a Szoboszlai or a I don't know a Foden or a Doku punt. But I look forward to seeing that, mate. I look forward to seeing that, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We apologise if you were joining at the start of the stream and you're listening or watching this now on YouTube. There was some tech issues with YouTube. All the streamers have been tweeting about it. Can't stream tonight, so I'm so glad we persisted, Ali, because so many came back on to enjoy the stream. You can go back though and watch the full video. So when this will be posted on the Scout videos tab, do go back and watch the 35-minute show because we didn't stop and we had a really good discussion about the game week just gone. So if you are just joining, make sure you go back and watch. If you're listening to us on podcast, thank you for listening every Monday morning, I expect. Really enjoy your support. If you want to show your appreciation, then the like button always does that. So hit that like button if you can. And if you're on podcast, you can obviously always review the pod too. For now, Ali, we'll be back next Sunday, right?
Absolutely, like always.
I look forward to it. Guys, thank you so much in the chat. We've been reading your comments. We'll see you next time. For now, he's been Ali, I've been Gianni, and we've been Fantasy Football Scout.
Cheers.